morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because somewhere around the world it is truly what time it is. I'm your host, Tony Montega, and this is Art on Comics, where today I'm going to be doing a breakdown of my top 50 comic books in my collection. There are still comic books on my wall. They may have more value than some of the comic books that are currently displayed in my top 50. These are not done by monetary value, although when we do get to the top 5 and 10, it's going to be about money as well as the significance of the book to me. Some of you may think some of these books may belong in a higher and or lower place, and you can just talk to me about it in the comment section, and I really hope that you do. I want to know what you guys think about my comic book collection. This took me a total of 18 months total to have overall all of these books collected. And what I've done in time is I have upgraded some of these books, meaning buying books that are in better condition than the prior one that I had, for those of you who do not collect comic books. And I'm just really excited about doing this. What I do have here today, though, is something that I wanted to make sure is an honorable mention. This is Marvel Tales #1. This is the first time that all of these comic book characters' original stories were told in comic book. So if you can afford an AF-15 or Incredible Hulk #1 or an Iron Man, #1, or an Iron Man Journey into Mystery, or any of their first appearances, you can get it right here in this book, and it is drawn, and it's just basically them taking the original artwork, and I'm gonna put this down. It's them taking the original artwork and basically just reconstituting it to this comic book. The pages may be in different orientation than they were originally, but it's drawn completely the same. And if you're going to look for something, they'll get you the closest there. That'll do it. So without further ado, what I'm going to say is there is a new comic book collector in town, and we're about to get into my top 50 right now. All right. And at 5-0, we have Invincible #1. The first appearance of Invincible in comics, the first appearance of Omni-Man, the first appearance of Mark Grayson, the first appearance of Nolan Grayson, who was Omni-Man, Deborah Grayson, who is the wife of Nolan and the mother of Mark. This is the original. And this could be a higher grade, but there are some spine ticks that are here, and there's 3 that are significant enough that would have me not upgrade this book to a higher grade. You see that this is a CGC and this is not a CGC, is because I have my own grading company and I just grade my books myself. I'm not in this to sell books, but I can tell you that the reason why most of my books are I do have high books, 9, 8s and stuff like that, but that's not the majority of them. I'm more concerned with having the actual book and making sure that the story is absolutely complete. I take pride in having books that are vintage and showing that they do have age and they've survived a long time. I'm also somebody that does not mind putting facsimile covers on a full comic book, so as long as the story is intact. There are comic book collectors out there that need it to the closest, highest grade that they can have it, and I'm not one of those comic book collectors. And you guys out there that are watching, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is that you collect with what makes you happy. If you can only afford to get copies of the books that I'm going to show today, there's still the stories of the books. If you can only afford to get some of them coverless until you upgrade them, there's still the books. And in some cases, I can afford to have some of these books fully, covered and everything, but it's just not that important to me. I think what's most important to me is actually having the book. I do not mind putting facsimile covers on books. There are 2 books in this collection that are coverless, and they're going to have facsimile covers on them, or maybe it's 1. I'm not sure, but we're going to get to it. I know it's a big book that is coverless, and I'm definitely going to put a facsimile cover on that book. So we're going to get to it. But without further ado, let's get to number 49. And you got to make sure that you absolutely write this down. So number 49 is going to be the first appearance and second appearance of Ra's al Ghul. This will not be broken up. I'm going to put these right here in front of you. So this is Batman 232, which is the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, and Batman 244, which is the second appearance of Ra's al Ghul. That is number 49. We will go to number 48 right now, the first appearance of Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy as Spider Woman, and this is also autographed. Latour signed this, and this is just a beautiful copy. Jason Latour signed this. This is a beautiful copy. Again, it says, "Hey Tony," it's autographed. You know, to have your name on something. I'm sorry, like I don't know where my camera is, but to have your name on something, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope to have. I bought it consequently with my name already signed on the book, so that's pretty. I think that's pretty ironic, right? So let's get to number 47, which will be 2 books again. So this is the first appearance of Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man number 31, and also the death of Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 121. So number 47 is Amazing Spider-Man number 31, the first appearance of Harry Osborn and Gwen Stacy, and then the also shared with Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 121, which is the death of Gwen Stacy. Sad day for Peter Parker. It was a super sad day for Peter Parker. We're gonna get to number 46, which is Amazing Spider-Man. I think this is number 9. And this is, I have it graded at a 0.5. The reason why I have it graded at 0.5 because the back page, as you can see, it's mangled. And I have the carbon protecting paper inside my books. So when I do grade them, I make sure that they're straight. And the reason why I love going to this grading, the reason why I like grading my own books is because if I want to open this up, I can open this up. But I love these slabs that they have because they're pretty thin and they have these rubber guards on the side that really gives, to me, in my personal opinion, it gives the books, or at least the casing that the books are in, it gives it an added form of protection because these don't crack. The CDC books, slabs, they be cracking. These don't crack. This is number 45. And again, one of my own grading sources. I would use PSA because they just set the standard for grading, period. But it's just too much going on with CGC that I am not comfortable with going there to them. Now, I will buy a book that is pre-graded, and I try to stay away from high number books that's high in value because of what happened with CGC. It's just very difficult for me to have that kind of confidence. This is number 44, and this is Amazing Spider-Man number 2, the first appearance of the Vulture. You guys, the first appearance of the Vulture. This book will be downgraded, and it should be downgraded, so I'm going to take it back to my guys because I think it should be a 2.0 or a 1.8. Now that I'm looking at it, definitely 2.0, 1.8. So I'm going to definitely have this looked at to have it downgraded. And we have number 43, which is X-Men 101, the first appearance of Phoenix. And we have number 42, which is the first time. This is the first John Romita. This is the first John Romita Spider-Man cover, and the first time that the Green Goblin finds out who Spider-Man is. This iconic cover is super iconic in comic books. This is just an amazing comic book cover, and I'm gonna do this for the channel. I'm gonna do a ambidextrous art piece on this on the channel, so you guys stay tuned to this because it's definitely gonna have to happen. Okay, we go to number 41, which is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 8, and this is triple signed. This is the first appearance of symbiotes in comics. This is the first time the black suit appeared in Marvel comic books, and it is on this iconic cover where you see Spider-Man holding it. And Spider-Man's black suit is my favorite Spider-Man suit. I love the original OG suit, but my favorite Spider-Man costume was and always will be the black suit. This is number 40, you guys, and number 40 is Watchmen number 1. This is the first appearance of and death of the comedian, first appearance of Rorschach, Silk Spectre, Dr. Manhattan, Amadeus, and Night Owl. And let's get this up here. And it's funny because this is the first comic book I've ever purchased in my life as a kid. And I remember being so young, like you're like 10 years old, you go to the comic book shop and you buy the book and then you're reading it and it's a naked guy inside of it that's blue. I brought this book home, my mother flipped out. in the name is that? Okay, and at number 39, we have Spawn #1, first appearance of Spawn in comic books. The Todd Fathers creation. You have to respect the Todd Daddy. So this is Spawn #1, and it would be disrespectful to have this book in anything other than, in my opinion, a 9.6. It is a fairly new book, so, and it's very important. It's Spawn. It's Todd's first creation, so it's not really his first creation because there's another book that predates it, but that's his first successful one. And in number 38, we have Amazing Spider-Man 361. This is also signed. This is a CBCS copy. This is first appearance of Carnage in comic books, and this is just a dope comic book to have. I don't mind CBCS, you guys, and I'm not saying everything's bad about CGC, but what I am saying is just too much funny business going on for me to feel comfortable giving CGC my money when I know I can buy the books raw, have them inspected, and then grade them myself. And I can also read the book still if I choose to. This is number 37, and this is going to be 2 books, I believe. One. Yeah, so that is The Death of Green Goblin, and it's also with the first appearance of the Green Goblin. I have this in a 2.5. I have it in the green label because it's missing a spread that's supposed to be in here, like an ad that's supposed to be inside the book, but it's not in it. But other than that, this book presents like a 3.5, to be totally honest with you. But because of that ad missing out of the book, it's unforgiving. So I had to put a green label on this bad boy and docked it at a 2.5. But it's the first appearance of the Green Goblin. This is The Death of Green Goblin on a custom CGC label. Really dope to have. But the first appearance of the Green Goblin is the cream of the crop here. Let's get to number 36. Which is Journey into Mystery 83, Golden Records print of first appearance of Thor. I will be getting the original copy of Thor. Probably going to buy it in a coverless copy, and then just put a facsimile cover on it, and you'll get a purple label. I don't really care. I just definitely want the original, but this is in my collection, and it's on my wall, and it's still the first appearance of Thor. It's just the first, I guess, variant cover and reprint of it. But we do have Journey into Mystery 85, the third appearance of Thor and the first appearance of Loki, and this is in fact original. So, but that's why, you know, we have to get the original for Thor. And at number 34, we have Batman's Killing Joke, an iconic comic book cover where the Joker does the most heinous act and you could just ever imagine a Joker doing, and he does it in this comic book. This is just an amazing comic book cover. I definitely recreated this already, you guys, and I'm going to make sure that this is up on this channel. Again, every month I'm going to be doing ambidextrous artwork and just artwork period, showing you guys artwork with my left hand or my right hand, or working with them both at the same time. But I'm definitely going to make sure that this comic book cover is put up here so you guys can see how amazing the artwork came out. This is my favorite Joker cover of all time, and this is number 34 in my collection. And number 33 is Amazing Spider-Man number 50, the first appearance of the Kingpin. I could definitely live without that little mark that was drawn on the cover. Probably could have it removed, but someone bought this for me, and at the grade that it is, and it's just still great. I can still see everything on it. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. I'm super happy with what I have, and it's just really dope to have it inside my collection. That's number 33. And number 32 is Amazing Spider-Man number 3, the first appearance of Dr. Octopus. First appearance of Dr. Octopus. Happy to have this in my collection. And now we have number 31, which is Ultimate Fallout number 4, the first appearance of Miles Morales. and comic books, this is an 8.5, but I believe it could be bumped up to like a 9.2. So I'm going to have my people look at it, give it a nice press, and then have them look at it, see if we can just get this grade bump to a 9.2 on this book. I believe that it deserves it. It could get it. This is Spider-Man 2099, first appearance of Miguel O'Hara as Spider-Man 2099. Amazing book. I love the character. This is number 30 that is in my list. Just dope to have. I'm super happy to have this book. So that was our top 30, and we got a lot more to go. So I want to thank you guys for being here. If you are appreciating the content so far, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe, because we're about to get into the top from 29 all the way up to the next 15. We're going to kind of do this in segments. That way we don't kind of lose track of ourselves. I'm excited. All right. So for number 29, make sure I put that down. Yeah, for number 29, we have Popeye #1, Dell Publishing, 1948. I wish I could just play the music. Popeye was like really my first kind of superhero. I love all superheroes. I love Batman, Superman. I grew up on, I'm a Marvel kid, but I definitely grew up on DC too. So I have a lot of love for DC comic books. I know I don't have a lot of DC books inside of this collection. This was super, super hard to do, super hard to get done, but I definitely had to make sure that Popeye was inside of this collection. And at number 29, it is a blessing to have that book in the collection. We're going to go to number 28, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the third print, first appearance of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in comic books. I will do an upgrade on this book so we can have just a cleaner copy of this. I'm thinking about getting a second print. I'm going to get a second print of this book, or at least a 9.0, 9.2 in the third. But we're going to do a giveaway on this book eventually and be giving this away to one of you subscribers out there. So stay tuned for that. And what we have now is number 27. It's Doctor Strange 169, The Origins of Doctor Strange. And this is autographed and signed. Pretty dope to have in my collection. Definitely. These books are off my wall. There are more books that are on my wall, but these are the books that are off my wall. We're going to number 26 right now. Number 26 is New Mutants. New Mutants 98, the first appearance of Deadpool in comic books. It should be a lot higher up in the count, but again, this is really, really difficult to do this count, and I know for sure he was going to be in it, but definitely happy to have him. I'm probably going to end up upgrading that book too and getting an autographed copy of Deadpool's book. Maybe it'll jump in the count from that. We're at number 25 now, y'all. This is the full from 25 to 50. This is Superman #3, a coverless copy. I possibly would take this out of this slab and put a facsimile cover on this book. I definitely probably would not mind doing it. This is Superman #3. Funny thing is, I got a story behind this book. This was in a trade for one of the top books that is currently in this top 50, and I put it with a bunch of books in cash and trade to get this book, but I had to buy that book back because I had another Superman book, and I ended up trading it for a Hulk 181. It was a purple label, like a 1.0. It was a 0.5 Hulk 181, and I had a Superman #6, you guys, and a 3.5, and I traded it fair and square for that Hulk 181. It was the stupidest thing I've done in comics. Let me say this to you guys. Shout out to the comic book creators, right? Because I got to get back into the hobby. I had to look at a lot of YouTube creators out there, and some are really, really dope creators. I mean, most of them are. There are a few people out there who like controversy, and some people who just seem like they're not happy with their lives. And but for the most part, everyone's, you know, pretty welcoming. I know that I don't have the same political views as a lot of people. If you know what I'm famous for, then you know why I'm famous. But this is something that I still feel like all of us share with one another, and this is a time where all of us can remember being innocent to some degree. This was our great escape, and I'm very, very happy and proud to be able to be in this hobby and share this love that you have with these books with you. This is not something that I'm alone at. I'm pretty sure there are thousands of people out there, even millions of people that wish they could have some of these books that are in this collection. So I do want to give a big shout out to Mighty Comic Books and Collectibles, Gem Mint Comics, because these two are like my favorite, content creators. Is really the top four would be Gem Mint Comics, Mighty Comic Books Collectibles. You have Comics with Bonics, and you have Reggie Collects, but there are so many other comic book creators out there. Bryce Comics, Tom Comics 101. And when it comes to getting the weekly breakdown of comic books, its value, and to me, its significance, my first choice is going to go to Mighty Comic Books and Collectible, because when I was making a lot of bad choices initially in the comic book hobby, that's really the page that I went to that was kind of schooling me on what not to buy, what to buy. Looking for things in different, at different price ranges, because when you first get back into the hobby, you may think that that's just the price and it's just overpriced. It's not the overall price. You can go out there, you can look and find great deals. And he was one of the people that really just drilled that idea in my head. So that's what allowed me to make this comic book collection what it is. This took me around 18 months, again, to have the majority of these books collected. To be able to say that I have these books is an amazing thing. And I also watched Comic Tom 101, his Thursday breakdown, to see what's going on in his top 10 list too. But there are, like, again, you guys, tons of other comic book collectors. You have Journos Comics. There's a lot. Like it's a lot of comic book collectors out there. There are people who I watch, and I'm sure I'm not able to bring them up now. But what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to look forward to, is I'm going to bring out the top 10, in my opinion, the top 10 comic book content creators on YouTube, and I'm going to break them down in not only the books that they have collection wise, but also with what they bring to the table. And I think that is going to be beneficial. Lee Ditko Kirby, I can just tell you, is going to be number one on my list. He's going to be number one on every one of us. This guy's collection is totally insane. And every time you feel like you have any kind of book and you've accomplished anything, you just go to his page so you can just remind yourself you don't. So let's get back into the top 25, you guys. And this book that we have in the top 25 is Fantastic Four number 49, the first full appearance of Galactus, and the first time the Silver Surfer is shown on cover of a comic book. Super happy to have this book in my collection. Okay, you guys, we're going to move on to number 23, which is Fantastic Four number 52, the first appearance of T'Challa in comic books. This is dope to have. This is the Black Panther, and this is number 23 on the list. This is our Michael Jordan book right here. Okay, and now we're at number 22 on the list, which is Hero for Hire number 1, the first appearance of Luke Cage. It's my second favorite black superhero. You're gonna see who number 1 is, because he's gonna be before him. But he's my favorite black superhero. Second is Luke Cage. And my first favorite black superhero in Tomb of Dracula number 10 is the first appearance of Blade the Vampire Hunter, and that is number 21 on our list. Number 21 on our list is Tomb of Dracula number 10, first appearance of Blade the Vampire Hunter. And now we're going to get to number 20 on our list, which is Iron Man number 1, first title of Iron Man. Dope book to have in the collection, and it is our number 20. Now we get down to number 19 in the collection, and this is the first full appearance. Some of you might be wondering, why do I have this before Iron Man number 1? But this is Iron Man number 55, the first appearance of this is the first appearance of Drax the Destroyer, Thanos, and the Blood Brothers. Dope book to have in the collection. Dope book to have, and that is number 18 in the collection. That was 18 in the collection. No, that was 19. This is number 19 in the collection. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to 18 right now. Number 18 in the collection is X-Men number 12. This is the first full appearance of Juggernaut in comic books, and this is also a CBCS, and this is this is from the personal collection of Duke Caldwell. And this is signed by Stan Goldberg. Super dope book to have. The colors on this book is absolutely amazing, and I am very, 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 very happy to have it. This was a part of Mr. Caldwell's collection, and now it's a part of mine. I can't wait to at some point to have, if I stay in the comic book collecting journey, if I have my books established to the point where someone is saying it's part of my collection. With that, we're going to go to number 17, and that is a Neal Adams cover in Batman 251, iconic Neal Adams cover, and this is the return of the psychotic, no playing around Joker. I said Killing Joke was probably my favorite Batman cover, but these two together is just, you can't have one without the other. I did have the Killing Joke first. It's just a mandatory for me, but this book, it's just a mandatory too, especially if you're a Joker fan. You have to have this iconic book in your collection, and I'm happy to have it, and that is number 17 in my collection. Let's get to 16. Number 16 is Remy, the first appearance of Gambit in comic books. So we have X-Men Annual 14, and then we have Uncanny X-Men 266, and we have them side by side, and that is our number 16. Together, I could not split these books up because you'll see why I'm saying this. This is the first appearance of Gambit. This is the first full appearance of Gambit, but this is here first. This is the first appearance of Gambit, and he is my second favorite X-Men. So yeah, he's my second favorite X-Men. So gotta have him inside the collection. And then we get into number 15 in the collection, and that is Avengers number 4, the first Silver Age appearance of Captain America in comic books. We're gonna upgrade this book too eventually, and we're gonna be giving this away in the future for the channel, so you guys stay tuned for that. And we're gonna get to number 14 right now, which is a signed book, autograph book, and this is Amazing Spider-Man 300, first appearance of Venom, signed by the Todd father, the Todd daddy, the Toddinator. And this is in a CGC 5.5 custom label. I'm not going to get rid of this book. This is at mid-grade. I don't really care. It's signed by Todd, and I'm keeping it. It's staying in my collection forever. This is number 13, and this is Avengers number 1. This is a UK variant, but it's still a book, and I'm keeping it. Maybe if I do, I'm going to upgrade it. I'm going to get an American copy, but when I do get an American copy of the book, when I do get that American copy of the book, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to give this away to my nephew. I don't think that I will be giving away this book because it means a lot to me. I will want to keep it in my collection. I don't know about you guys. This is number 12, you guys. This is Amazing Spider-Man 129, the first appearance of Frank Castle, the Punisher, in comic books. We have a dope illustration of this. I'm actually going to make sure if it's not up on this page, that it's up on this page. I'm going to put a few pieces of art up this week to make sure it's up there and it's rocking out, but it's definitely a dope book to have. I'm very, very happy to have it. This is the first appearance of Frank Castle, the Punisher, Spider-Man 129, and that is our number 12. We're going to go to number 11 right now. Number 11 is Amazing Spider-Man 252. First time Spider-Man is wearing the black suit costume, my favorite Spider-Man costume, on the cover of Amazing Spider-Man and title. Some people say the first time is there. I have the other books that it's in competition with, the Marvel Team Up or whatever the case may be. I didn't put it in here because, to be perfectly honest with you, maybe I should have. Maybe some of you guys are going to tell me that I should have, but I didn't put it in here because I'm not going to take anything away from this beautiful cover and the glory of this cover. This is like my favorite Spider-Man comic book cover, right behind Amazing Fantasy 15. This is my favorite Spider-Man comic book cover, right behind Amazing Fantasy 15. So an iconic comic. It's in my top 20, top 15. This is number 11. It would have been closer to number 1, but it's very difficult because of the books that are in the top 10. And with the cap off the top 10 right now, we have Marvel Spotlight number 5, the first appearance of Johnny Blaze, the Ghost Rider. See what I'm saying? In comic book. And this is number 10 on our list. We're at the top 10 on our list, you guys. I'm super excited. Super excited. Johnny Blaze. And number 9, we have Giant Size X-Men number 1, the first appearance of Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Thunderbird, and this is the second appearance of the Wolverine in comic. Second full appearance of Wolverine. Let's to get to number 8 on our list, which is Hulk 181 and Hulk 180. Hulk 180 to me, you guys, is the first appearance of Wolverine. And I mean, there are Marvel comic book cards that says the same. So to me, this is the first appearance of Wolverine, but this is Hulk 181, the first full appearance of Wolverine. And I'm still happy to have this in the collection. But this to me is the first appearance of Wolverine. This is the money book. This is the first full, all the way full. You see, you know, his back, everything, but this is the first acquaintance, the first appearance of Wolverine to me. We can talk about it in the chat. I would love to know what you guys think. And we're going to get on to book number 7 right now. Book number 7 is Fantastic Four number 1. This is a 0.5 coverless copy of the comic book. The pages are all complete in this book. And this will be one that will have a facsimile cover. So it's going to get a grade bump down to a no grade, and it will have a purple label on this. So sad, but the book needs to have protection over it. That's what the covers are for. It protects the pages, which to me is the most important part of it. Yes, the book covers are super iconic, but what's on the pages to me matters to me the most. Some of you may think different, but to me that's what matters the most. And now we're at number 6. Right, let me see. No, yes, now we're at number 6, which is Daredevil number 1. The first appearance of Daredevil. Foggy Nelson and Miss Page. Daredevil number 1. This was really, really difficult, you guys. I'm telling you, this was so hard to do. And number 5, the number 5 spot is Tales of Suspense number 39. This is a no grade because this is, although it has complete pages, the story is complete inside of this book. The restoration is it has a facsimile cover on it, and because it has a facsimile cover on it, you guys, it receives a no grade. I do not cheat myself, even though this is my grading company and I'm slabbing and grading my own books. I refuse to cheat myself. I refuse to fake against myself. I'm just not going to do that. And now we're going to get to number 4, you guys. And in the 4th slot, it is X-Men number 1, the first appearance of Magneto, Cyclops, Professor X, Iceman, Jean Grey, Beast, and Angel. And this book has a green label on it, but it's not missing anything at all. And that's what's super sad about this whole thing, because you guys, literally what it says is married and detached front and back covers, tape on interior cover. That's a restoration. There isn't anything about this book that's incomplete. And when you get a green label, it's supposed to be because something is missing. And nothing in this book here is missing at all. It is faded. I could see myself getting a better copy in the future and possibly selling this copy with the Elite Comic Books online. But nevertheless, this is X-Men number 1. And I'm just fortunate enough to be able to afford to have this book in my collection. And now we're going to go to number 3. Okay, and in my number 3 slots, I have Incredible Hulk number 1 and number 2. And you cannot, me personally, I see people breaking these books up where I see them putting number 2 like further down, you know, in their list. And I don't think that you can really put, I don't think you should be separating them. And if you're going to put the Jolly Green Giant in your countdown of the top 50, then in my personal opinion, it should definitely be close to the first appearance of the Incredible Hulk. This has a no grade on it because consequently, this is a facsimile cover. I purchased it thinking that it was an original cover, but you know how this game goes. I did get my money back, so I wasn't scammed. So I can't say that I was scammed, but nevertheless, this does have no grade on it because it's a facsimile cover. Although this is a complete book, complete story, everything inside this book is complete as far as the story and the pages are concerned. So I still have the Hulk number 1, but it does have a facsimile cover. And this is the Hulk number 2. first appearance of the Green Hulk, and this does not have anything facsimile on it. It has restoration because there's tape on the side of this book, and other than that, the story, the page here has seen better days, but it's definitely still a 1. The pages, everything is pretty solid inside of this book. The story is 100% there. Like I said, there is some restoration to the actual cover, but it was done a long time ago. I'm really fortunate to have these inside of my collection. I'm very fortunate to have these inside of my collection. This is the number 3 spot in my collection, which is again Hulk number 1 and Hulk number 2. And everyone who thinks about the Hulk, they're thinking about the Jolly Green Giant. I'm sorry, Joe Fixit, they're not thinking about the Great Hulk, even though this is the most iconic book out of the 2 because this is where it starts. I still think that a lot of people are not giving this book the significant amount of respect that is due to it. This is the first appearance of the Jolly Green Giant, Incredible Hulk. And this is the first appearance of the Hulk. And now we're going to get to number 2 in my collection, which is Amazing Spider-Man number 1. It is double signed by Stan Lee. Stan Lee signed it on the cover right here, and he also signed it on the first page where he wrote 1992. So the first time Stan Lee signed this book was in 1992, and then he signed it again in 2016. This is super dope to have in my collection, and a lot of people, I'm sure, would love to have this book in their collection, especially having it, signed by Stan Lee. Super big grail to have, and most collectors collection. And if you're a Spider-Man collector, then this is definitely a grail that you wish that you had in your collection. And I'm super happy to have it. I have other things signed by Stan Lee. I have a Hulk card signed by Stan Lee. I had other books that were signed by him, but I put them in trade. But man, to get this book here was super exciting. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, man. And I sit inside the comic book room and I look at these books that are on the wall, and I just feel really fortunate. And we're gonna get to number 1. Number 1 is a book that, as a kid, I'm pretty sure you just seen it. As a kid, I wish I could have. Man, and it's just that book that when you have it, it's kind of like you don't really believe that you have it. I'm fortunate enough to be able to read the pages of my book, look at it. Most people who have this book consequently do not get to read and touch the pages, and I could if I wanted to. And this book, y'all already seeing it, is Amazing Fantasy 15. This is the first appearance of Spider-Man in comic books, the first full appearance of Spider-Man in comic books, the first appearance of Peter Parker, Aunt May. This is a 0.0 grade. This book is complete. There's nothing missing with this book, but this cover is detached and it is mangled. When I mean this cover has seen better days, it has seen better days. And I felt compelled to give this grade since the cover is not attached and since the cover is in such rough condition. I felt compelled to give this book a 0.5 grade. It had a slight restoration on it where there was tape like on the sides here, and I just had it removed. So there's no tape on it. So I just removed all the restoration and just slapped the 0.5 blue label on it. It's just beautiful to see the book complete. And it is in my collection. This is my top book in my collection, Amazing Fantasy. Okay, so that is my top 50 comic books in my collection, and doing an edit on this is going to be difficult. If you've done this before, then this is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to select the books. Maybe the top 5 books you may have in your collection, that might be pretty easy to get. Maybe, you guys sit there and you'll think like, it's not that difficult, blah, 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 blah. But the editing process in this, I'm definitely not enjoying even thinking about doing it, but it's got to get done. I'm super excited for you guys to see these books, but it definitely took a lot of work. This was definitely start all over again. Hold on, wait, cut, and then action kind of thing. So shout out to all of the individuals out there that are putting their top 50 comic books in their collection out there for us to see. I would like to see your top 50 comic books of 2025. This is me challenging you guys out there. Show me your books. Talk to you guys later.
Did you do it?
Yes.
What did it cost?
Everything.